data points is what a VR headset can collect in just 20 minutes. Let's imagine we're not here today. This is a virtual space, and everything here is virtual, including ourselves. These are our avatars. And as we are accessing all this through VR headsets from comfort of our homes, those VR headsets are collecting all kinds of data about us. Our head movements, our eye movements, our heart rate, even our hand movements. A study published within the past 2 weeks shows how just 5 minutes of this data can uniquely identify an individual with 94% accuracy. That means that your data creates a kinematic fingerprint that can track and identify you, just like your fingerprint would do at a crime scene. So, do you feel uncomfortable yet? Now I want you to come back to reality. The reality is that all this data collection leads to grave privacy threats for users. And these threats amplify when users are not aware, and VR companies take advantage of that for their gain. Raise your hands if you have ever consented to privacy policies without reading them. And I don't blame us. These privacy policies are vague, flawed, and intentionally boring. There were 57 million VR users in the United States in 2021. That's 57 million VR users exploited for data, and the number is expected to keep growing. VR developers have raised their concerns about this and highlighted how there is too little out there when it comes to user-centered privacy considerations in virtual reality. And that is where my research comes in. I'm doing a qualitative study to better understand users' privacy considerations in VR and to understand how being more informed affect their privacy attitudes. I do a pre- and post-presentation survey followed by a semi-structured interview. The presentation helps users be more informed about various privacy risks in virtual reality. So far, the findings from my research point to users being far more uncomfortable after they had watched the presentation. I am never using a VR headset again. This felt like a betrayal of trust, were some of the concerns raised by my participants. I am positive that findings from my research will help VR developers better advocate users' privacy, will lead to more transparent privacy policies and more autonomy for users. And isn't that what's most important? Thank you.